March 13th, 1993. A raging storm is pummeling Pine Island, Florida, creating a 12-foot surge from the Gulf of Mexico. Just after dawn, Fred Bellett and his girlfriend Kimberly Kelly huddle in the 3-foot-high crawl space above the ceiling of their one-story home. Fred uses a flashlight to peer below them. The Gulf is rapidly consuming the house.
The water was almost to the point to where it was actually licking the ceiling tiles in the room below us, and it was just dissolving. It's like turning into oatmeal.
As they watch their possessions float away, the frightened couple uses Fred's work radio to call for help. Kimberly makes contact with some of Fred's co-workers.
They're asking me what my address is, and I'm like, forget about the address. Come to the second rooftop on Pandora Drive. That was my thing. Send them to the second roof. Send them to the second roof. That's all I kept saying, And they would be like, calm down. We're trying to get someone out there.
Suddenly, over the roar of the 50-mile-an-hour winds and pounding waves, an even more alarming sound rattles through the crawl space.
I heard this crashing noise, and my neighbor's boat came up off its trailer, went through the bedroom wall, and we were watching this happen from above.
The wall just... Once the wall broke and the water got inside, that's when it started just falling apart. You could see things like the walls, just lay over and go.
And now we were somewhat adrift inside the crawl space of an attic. It was just a truss and the base to it, and that was it. That's all that was left.
Next door, water and waves have ripped away the first floor of Bill Cope's home. The walls, made of concrete blocks, have simply disappeared.
The blocks just were knocked out like dominoes. Just collapsed them.
Most of the second floor stretches precariously between two support beams, 36 feet apart. Nothing else is holding it up. While his wife Mary Ann takes shelter at the back of the house, Bill monitors the invading floodwaters.
That wall of water came, and the water kept rising and rising, and collapsed the front door, and then subsequently the stairs, and it just kept coming up and up and up. That's when I realized this was something pretty major.
Bill joins Mary Ann and tells her it's time to take action.
We need to have a plan in case we have to get out of here, in case the house collapses.
I just couldn't believe it. And I do know I heard the fear in his voice, and that we need to get to safety.
By now it's after 8 a.m., and the couple is running out of options.
We had nothing, we had no emergency equipment upstairs. So the only thing we could think of, that we would take our belts and clip them together and tie them together and somehow use that as a lifeline to get us from the deck out to a tree. It wasn't a rational, thought-out plan. It was a reactive plan. The house is going. What are you going to do to get out of it?
50 yards away, neighbors Kimberly Kelly and Fred Bellett have lost much of their house. Their attic space is filling up with water. The only place left to go is onto the roof. Fred frantically saws at the wood around a metal vent, trying to make a hole big enough to crawl through.
After he knocked the hole out, I'm like, how are we going to get onto there? I mean, we're going to fall to our death here. I couldn't figure out how we were going to get out of that hole and over the ledge of the roof onto the top.
I mean, we were both somewhat panicked. We didn't know what was going to happen.
Fred's two-way radio has fallen into the water, so he has no idea that help is on the way. Co-workers at the Tampa Tribune had called the Coast Guard hours ago, as soon as they heard the couple's maydays. Now, helicopter pilot Bruce Frail is lifting off from the air station in Clearwater, 40 miles away.
I applied the power, nosed the aircraft over, and the wind just picked us up as if we were just a leaf, and brought us at a very vertical rate of climb up to about 800 to 1,000 feet.
Bruce tries to accelerate the Sikorsky aircraft, but he's flying into headwinds between 50 and 60 knots. Navigating through the storm is dangerous and frustrating.
What you have to do is just grin and bear it. But there are moments there where you lose all contact with the ground and you don't see anything except your instrument panels.
With every minute that passes, Kimberly and Fred become more desperate. By 8:30 a.m., the attic is almost underwater.
And that's when he's like, we're going to have to get on the roof because it's not going to stay up much longer. And I'm like, I can't get on the roof.
Fred pulls himself out through the hole from the vent. Just as he turns for Kimberly, the Gulf rushes in.
I was like, going to go out the hole, and the wave or something, it just came, and I was under the water.
A wave came in and sort of slapped her in the face, basically, and pushed her back inside the attic.
The swirling water is pulling Kimberly under with the house. Fred leaps into action.
The next thing I remember is I felt this pulling. It was like had a hold of my hair, and like my arm and my hair was in there because I felt the pain of my hair.
I just held my breath and ducked under and reached inside, and I felt her sleeve and just pulled her out as hard as I could.
And I remember coming up out of the water. And I was air, I could get air.
Fred helps Kimberly up to the roof, but the couple realizes they are not yet out of danger.
Our roof started going under the water. He kept saying if the roof doesn't stop sinking and moving, we're going to have to climb in this tree. And I'm like, there's no way. I physically can't do it. I'm crying, I'm hysterical, I'm just going to die because I could not hold on to this tree.
It feels like I get this